While we're here.
Might as well.
What up, YouTube? I'm just making sure for something feels weird today.
Are we on the air? That's all that matters.
That's what I check first. Not on the air.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube.
Are we?
We should be good to go.
Is it recording?
It's recording. Yeah, this is what we have to go through. There's so many buttons to make sure this all gets done right.
Everything's recording. The podcast is recording. YouTube is up. If you are watching, let us know. Make sure you can hear us.
Give us a wink or something. I don't know. Hey, welcome to Uncensored 71. We're Kramer and Jess. Always try to give you a heads up before we start this because some of you guys are coming over from the radio show and you're going to be like, whoa. Jess, what's our disclaimer?
This is uncensored. I know it's in the title, but we're serious about it. It is legitimately uncensored, so please, no little ears around. Please do not listen to this around your kids, even if they're 2 years old and you have it on. There has been a situation where a 2-year-old did learn a cuss word from us. We aren't proud of it, but the situation occurred, and we call it our close friends, as in, things that you just kind of want your close circle to see, not so much things that you would post on Facebook that grandma would look at.
Yeah, that's what this show's all about.
Yeah.
Back from Hawaii. We've talked a lot about it on the radio show, so I want to hop right into it because I know we're kind of tight on time today. Special guest today, all the way
from Stockton, California.
Hey,
from the 209.
The 209. Give it up for Jess's dad, Mark.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, Bub.
Dad.
Hey, Kramer.
Hey, man. Hey, so let's talk about this trip. First off, just give us. Jess has said a lot about it. I've said a lot about it on the radio. Your 1 minute recap of how you feel like the trip went.
The 1 minute recap. The trip was fantastic. It was amazing. Obviously, you can't beat the time or weather you have in Maui. The weather was perfect. I mean, it was a great experience. The girls had never been there. I think Gerald had never been there, so it was great to experience their first time with us together. And we did a lot of tour stuff while we were there. We also did some local stuff, went to a swap meet, and ate a lot, swam in the ocean, swam with turtles, I golfed. I mean, what more could you ask for?
It's perfect, isn't it? Hawaii is just
for a longer time.
It's honest to God the best place on the earth. Every time I come back, I'm like, I'm going to move there. And then I look at like the financial part of it. I'm like, I can't afford to move there. So then I just I stay here until my next trip. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I know. It was. Yeah, even Michaela was looking for jobs while she was there.
Yeah,
everybody.
my sister was literally trying to get a job application to move there.
I met a woman when I was actually on Maui, and she did the same thing. She was like, I basically just said, like, F my life. I'm going to go out there and moved out there. She is miserable.
No,
because it is so painfully expensive.
Yeah.
She's an artist or something, and she moved from, like, somewhere cheap, and then all of a sudden she lives in Hawaii. It's just not.
It's out of control.
Yeah.
Back to work we
go. It is not cheap. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, great time. Great time.
Good. Well-deserved good time, I think, for everyone. So you know why you're here. Last time that we had you on here, we were talking about this possible proposal from one Gerald / Garageboy. And
careful
with
his name is Gerald for the time being.
Only Gerald.
Careful.
The joke behind that.
Move on.
I feel like if you don't know why,
let's move along. We can talk about it after he's off the phone.
Yes.
Okay.
I purposely have been oblivious to the true nature of that nickname.
He's like, why is it?
Not even get into it.
Yeah, have some respect.
He still doesn't know. He doesn't know why it's called that.
Yeah.
No.
Did you feel going, like when you got there, because obviously we know at this point, in case you haven't been keeping up with the radio show, social media, Jess did not get proposed to. Did any point, did you feel like it was going to happen? Because Jess said she didn't even get the vibe like it even could have happened.
No, I actually never did. It's interesting. My wife and I talked about it a little bit before we left, and we were just, we were talking it through that if it was to happen, kind of how would we react and how would that be? And obviously we would not have been upset if it had. But to answer your question, I never felt like that. I think because this was such a family vacation that I don't know that it would have been. I mean, I was with Jessica and Gerald. We were all together for probably 80% of the trip. When I other than when I was golfing with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
the kids were always with us. Right? I call them kids because they're younger, but they were always with us, right? And we were on the beach. They went to the beach down before us. So I don't think there was ever. I wouldn't have thought that there was never really that romantic moment where I think that maybe it could have happened.
The perfect ideal moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying the place wasn't romantic. I think the atmosphere that we had all together as a family, I don't think it really lended to that opportunity for him.
How did that conversation go between you and Mom before we went? Like, was as in kind of like, are you guys ready for it to happen, or more so speculating if it was going to happen on this trip, or just kind of your feelings all around?
I think the furthest I think we got into the discussion was, do you think it would happen on this trip? And I think we both thought probably not, just for the reasons I said, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we said obviously if it did, it'd be, we would be happy for you and him if that's what you both wanted, but we never really went beyond the do you think it will happen, and we just both felt that maybe he wouldn't feel if he wanted to that, that might be appropriate.
Would you have felt kind of bummed if he did though, low key?
I think I don't know. I don't know how having the chance to be presented with the actual event or the ask. I don't know how I would have felt.
Wait, bummed? Why bummed? I'm confused.
I say bummed because I kind of feel like, because this is kind of how I felt. Another reason why I didn't think it was going to happen is I think I would have even kind of been, obviously, and I would never feel negative, about like us getting married, and I don't feel negative about it, but almost kind of bummed because I feel like it would have stolen the attention of like what really mattered, and I felt like all of our time together was the most important than just like him and I getting engaged.
So that you're saying you think the family trip should have been just that, and should not have derailed to be just focused on the two of you.
Which is why I asked you, Dad, because I wasn't sure if maybe you like. Of course, I know that you would be happy for me, but if also a part of you kind of would have been a little bummed if that would have happened.
I think I jokingly said to your mom, it would be as if you go to a wedding and as a woman you outshine the bride. Right?
Okay, I see.
I feel like, I feel like that just because the moment wasn't right, and maybe I don't know what you guys if you guys ever talked about what that might look like with friends or family. I have no idea. I just did not feel going there that it was going to happen.
Yeah,
I just didn't.
And that's kind of how I felt too, to be honest.
Do you have any reservations about them getting married at all?
No, I don't. I mean, I think he is probably, well, one, he's like a surrogate son to me in the sense that I'm very proud of him. Obviously I'm very excited about their relationship, how happy he makes her, and how he seems to be, he dotes on her, he takes care of her. The fact that he moved with her away, and all the things that I want to get all mushy about. But no, I'm very proud of him. I'm proud he's part of our family. So no, I have no reservations at all.
One thing that I saw, some of the comments when we posted that Jess didn't get engaged, and this.
But wait, before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to my dad for saying that, and it's a really special thing for me to hear, because I think I was in a position, and my family was in a position to where I never thought my dad would say that about my partner, and so it means a lot to me that we're there, because that's more than anything, the most important thing to me was that I could share that with my family. And so to hear my dad say those words, there was a point in my life where I never thought that he would say that about the person that I was with, and so that means a lot. And the fact that they invited him on this vacation is really big for us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, honey. But that's how I feel, and your mom feels the same way. So I mean, I'm happy to hear that makes you happy. So, but you're right. There was a time. And those words would never get close to coming out.
Yes, there was. Was that not just in hindsight now? Is that not just a huge red flag for you that maybe he's not the right one? Your family can't approve.
I mean, absolutely. I was a red flag. The whole situation was a red flag.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
it wasn't great. Do you feel like this? A couple comments I saw on the post were Garageboy's dragging his feet. He's dragging his feet. It's been 2 years. Do you feel that as a father? Are you looking at him would you just friggin' propose to my daughter already? Like, are you at that phase? And if you're not, when did you think you would get to that phase where you feel like he just needs to like do the damn thing?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I've listened to the show the last couple of days, and I've heard the comments that have happened about the 2 year, and I don't know. I've never understood that whole "it's been 2 years. Why haven't you asked yet?" I didn't come from a time. I don't see that as a long period of time. I don't know what that means. I mean, I was with Jessica's mom for years before we got married or proposed. So I don't know where that comes from. And to answer your other question, I don't know. I mean, I know from my own personal experience when with my sister and her ex-partner, I know that there was a time when I wish he would have proposed a long time ago when my dad was still here. And that was the only reason I think I had that thought at all. I mean, that's long since passed, and that's a whole different topic entirely.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I've ever felt where a timeline for me would be important when it comes to marriage.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. No. Solid answer. Solid answer.
As long, well, here's the thing, Kramer. I guess the better way to answer the question is, if my daughter Jessica feels like she's happy in her relationship, no matter what status they are, I'm happy for her. When I see her stop being happy for something that either she feels she's not getting or receiving, or it becomes, not what she wanted, then of course it becomes a problem, right? But right now it's not. And it's not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really quick, just last thing we'll say about her previous boyfriend. Now, because you're,
Careful. Legally careful.
I was talking about this in my podcast this week.
Zone.
Well,
Zone.
I was talking about this in my podcast this week about how much say a parent really has when it comes to their kids and who they date. Obviously, you love Gerald. He's awesome. He's part of your family. But none of us were quite fond about Jess's previous situation.
Right.
If he would have proposed to Jess,
oh God,
what would you have done?
Yeah, what would you have done?
I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
I would have done everything probably I could to try and persuade her to not. I would have given her every reason I could think of, because along the way, I mean, the worst thing you can do as a parent, and I don't know if you guys will ever have this experience because you guys don't have kids yet, but if you ever do, the worst thing you can do is, tell your child someone they're dating is not right for them.
Oh yeah,
right? Because they're not going to hear it. Right.
So it's only going to go the opposite way. Then my dad just doesn't understand me.
Yeah.
Right. So,
right.
And Jessica knows this. We were as supportive from afar, and we would. I know I personally would give advice as to why this probably is not best for you, But if that had ever happened, I literally would have been, no, hell no.
Does anyone object?
Everyone
objects.
Would you have cut her off? What would you have done?
I would have done everything I could to get her to listen, if that meant cutting her off. Because at one point,
we went through that.
Remember
actually.
this? At one point, that did happen.
Yeah, we went through that.
We actually did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's like a year and a half or so.
And so, yeah.
You mean communication or financially?
Right. Everything.
Wow.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you still didn't get through your head.
We were always, hopefully she believed this at the time, we were always here for her if she had ever called.
Sure, of course.
But financially, we shut it down. I mean, we shut down.
And communication. We weren't talking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Jess, why?
I mean,
you're so close to your family. How in the world was that not like the biggest wake-up call ever?
Well, I think there were so many things going on at that time, and I feel like he definitely took advantage of the mental space that I was in and used it to his advantage to isolate. And like there were so many things that I was going through at like that time in my life, and like trying to find myself. And of course, like, as you know, the worst thing you can do is telling your kid at that time is like who they're with is wrong. And so in turn, you're like, well, I'm not going to let you define me anymore. So it was just all these layers of things that I had never felt before, that I had never dealt with before. And it was a shit show.
Yeah.
It was a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're way sidetracked.
Oh yeah.
Well,
there were. Hey, Kramer, there were many a conversation up here in the 209 of, what we could do to separate those two.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there
short
were.
of burying him in the sand. I mean, there were lots of
That was an option, though. It was a feasible option.
Careful.
But, careful on recording.
I said short of.
Yeah.
Never would do it.
Short
Legally, we would never do that.
Yeah.
So
Never.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
Well, we move on to the next chapter with Jess and Gerald, and we will see. Jess, your next prediction of when it could happen. Holidays?
Yeah, I think like holidays. Like
Mike, how do you feel about that?
Later on.
Holidays sound right to you?
Sure, holidays sound great to me. Especially, I mean, again, if we're hopefully I say we being her family here are lucky enough, if it does happen, when it happens, that we happen to be a part of it, great. If not, we will still share the joy.
Oh, there you go.
Know?
Look at that. Look at that.
Look
Dad
at
of the year right here.
that.
Dad of the year takes you to Hawaii. Super supportive. That's Dad of the year.
Dad of the year.
Absolutely.
Dad of the year.
Dad also has a real job
Thank
he needs to
you
get
very
to.
much.
So.
I know. Sorry.
We don't mean to waste your work day, but
Love you, Dad.
Thanks for checking in, Mike.
Love you.
All right, buddy.
Bye, guys.
See you, man.
Bye.
I forgot he hates Garageboy.
That's why
Garageboy.
don't ever, like, not even in the slightest can you
forgot.
ever.
So you want to explain? Because I feel like we have to now explain that in case
Yeah.
you're new to our podcast.
Yes, new to the podcast. Garageboy is my boyfriend. The name comes from us hooking up in my parents' garage on the second day that I met him in my life, and it was also my mother's birthday party. And none of us saw this coming. We all just thought it was like going to be like a one night thing. I was never going to see him again, and then here we are 2 years later, and I'm gonna marry this guy.
Yeah, fine.
And in the midst of all that, when Garageboy became a thing, my dad lost his shit and didn't want it to be.
What does lost his shit mean?
Like, I mean, I think when the story broke, when I said that I blew someone in my parents' garage.
Because keep in mind, in case you didn't listen to us in San Diego, literally what happened was Jess was MIA.
I was MIA. I had to move out. Like,
It was
I was
chaos.
like homeless.
And so
like, my shit was in my car.
Or we call her. We actually honestly had nothing. We were like, shit, we're low on content. Let's call Jess and see what's going on.
Fuck you guys.
We had nothing going on.
This bitch is crazy. Let's call Jess.
Knew nothing of this,
Yeah.
right?
And I had not told any of my friends what happened because obviously all of my friends are intertwined. We have the same friends. So I couldn't tell any of my best friends because I was like embarrassed of what I've done because that just was not something that I would ever do. And I answered the phone and I was like, I just gave this guy a blowjob in my parents' garage and I think I fell in love with him.
I think I'm in love with him.
And I'm never going to talk to him again.
We're like, well, here goes today's episode, I guess. Nothing else we can talk about after this.
Yeah. And then my parents and my family, low-key, had an intervention with me about like how I'm portraying myself on the air, what I'm sharing on the air. And my dad was like, I never, ever want to hear or see anything that has to do with Garageboy.
It does have to be weird when your kids are sexual. You
and
know what I mean?
And that, to this day, like not even like
he will never utter that
we
name.
never say it when
Nothing.
we're around him.
But what about his like Instagram handle? It is Garageboy.
I know,
mean, there's
what
so
a
many
dick.
things. Yeah.
What a dick to do that.
Gerald just goes with it. He's just like, fuck it, I'm Garageboy, I guess.
Yeah.
He's got a damn podcast called In the
In the
Garage
Garage.
with Garageboy. What the fuck? Like, just imagine. Because your kids, I feel like they never grow up.
No, they
You know
don't.
what I mean? Like how our parents aren't really old people until all of a sudden you're like, wait, you're old? Like,
Well,
what? That's weird.
I was thinking about that when we were in Hawaii because I was looking at my sister. I'm looking at Butter, and I still see like 2-year-old Butter.
Yeah.
And that's all I see. And
Yeah.
when I was like making my little recap video, whenever I would see her face, I'm like, that's all I see. So obviously that's what I'm trying to kind of relate to when it comes to my parents. And yeah, that is pretty fucked up. Like my poor parents have had to deal with a lot, and I know it's not easy. And
Meanwhile, you're over here every day on the radio being like, this guy that I blow. That's what they have to hear every time. That's what your dad sees. Your dad
My
sees
poor dad.
you blowjobbing.
No.
Every time you say that in his head.
He would never.
He has to. How could you not?
He gets angry. But
bet.
that's why when you said it, I was like,
Whoop, I forget. We don't call him that.
Reel it in.
Hey, Roxana, good morning. And Tiny T and Celia and Darren. Celia said, by the way, that was such a great call, Jess, when you called into the radio show and
Oh, God.
in San Diego or in the podcast and talked about the blowjob.
Yeah.
I don't think uncensored wise that I have anything to discuss about the trip. The only thing that I have a question about that falls into the uncensored category is if you're going to have your breast out in public, and I look at them, it's not my fault.
What do you mean?
I'm on one of the beaches, okay? While I went to the big island, Jess went to Maui, and I stopped at one of these beaches. I'm hanging out.
Is this like a nude beach?
No, regular beach. This woman happens to be breastfeeding. Okay?
Yeah.
Happens to be breastfeeding next to me. I'm not staring because I know better. No, every guy knows better than to stare in a situation like that. I was definitely not in the staring category.
Yeah, if you're like walking and you glance and like notice, okay. I feel like there's like a rule. Like
it's like one of those, wow, there's a boob. Like every guy, by the way,
oh, you're breastfeeding,
is going to be like, oh, wow, there's a boob. No matter what.
Yeah.
That's just how we are programmed. And I know it's an appropriate, whatever. It's how we are wired. We're going to see a breast and be surprised. It'd be like if you saw a penis hanging out. You'd probably be like, oh, there's a penis. That's not supposed to be out. And typically out.
Right.
And now it's out.
Yeah.
So I probably just glanced
2 times.
1 second too long.
Okay.
And she kind of gave me this like uncomfortable
like
pullover.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Like, how dare you?
And then I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I've now entered into the category of I was
pervy.
1 second too long than I should have been.
It's a scary
Didn't mean to
slope.
make it weird. But after and she it was the vibe was weird. It was just weird. And I'm sure every woman I'm sure knows the vibe. You give that vibe of like, whoa.
Oh no.
You're looking at my boobs too long.
Yeah.
And we as guys pick up on the vibe. I'm like,
you
whoa.
can feel it because it's like radiating. Like, we're angry and you fucked up and we're gonna make you feel uncomfortable until you leave the premises.
We were looking at the boobs too long. Like, we know it's a common language we speak. Different, but
unspoken,
but we get it, right?
Yeah.
But then I kind of got pissed.
Okay.
For like just a second. And I wanted to bring it up on the podcast because I am all about women feeling comfortable. I would never want to make a woman feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the vibe that she gave me was so like, how dare you look at my breast?
Too long.
And I was like, I just happened like you offered it up. Like she's feeding her baby. She's feeding her baby
to nobody.
She's deciding in public to pull her breast out for whatever reason.
But that's not, and I think that's the issue.
I'm not hooting and hollering.
She's not offering shit up, and I think that's where women get upset. It's like, it's not yours.
I'm not hooting and hollering.
You know?
I'm not hooting and hollering.
She's not offering shit up to nobody. She's feeding her child.
Absolutely. I didn't throw her beads. I didn't say honka honka.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of like there for a second. I was like, can you be, if you're choosing to breastfeed or pull your breast out for whatever reason, just like if I were to pull my butt cheeks out and somebody looked at them, I couldn't be like,
I guess it's a little different too, because I guess like when you're just hoping that it would register differently, because it's not like she is like out with the girls and she's like dressed up wanting to be looked at, and like, you know, if you get looked at a little too long, that's one thing. But I think to her, she's like, I'm literally feeding my baby right now, and for you not to be able to separate that in your mind is
which I
upsetting.
100% do.
So obviously for her, you know, for you to look a little too long, it's very frustrating.
Let's say that she was hoeing a garden.
What do you mean?
Literally hoeing, like had a hoe. Like I'm literally talking about the
working on the yard.
Let's say she was doing her taxes in public, and I just happened to look over and look at her doing her taxes.
And like her cleavage is
for
out.
2 seconds. No, just doing her taxes.
Oh.
Just sitting there typing on the beach, doing her taxes.
Oh, okay.
Cleavage put away.
Yeah.
Full bodysuit, Jess.
Okay.
Nothing uncovered. And I look for 2 seconds. Okay. Now, wouldn't you say that you're doing your taxes in public? If I look over and see you doing your taxes, it's not my fault because you opted to do your taxes in public.
But this is like breastfeeding. Like, I don't think there's
so does
any
that fall?
Sort of, like,
does that fall into a different category?
Oh yeah, I feel like breastfeeding is like protected. It should just be like the all of protection.
Even if you can listen. By the way, I had no problem with it.
And there's a difference too, and I think, and you even admitted that you looked too long. There's a difference between
it was
noticing.
More like, sure, yeah, but again, I want to make sure it doesn't come across as I was being pervy. It was not in the pervy category.
No, I know, but it is. I think it's just like it's a slippery slope, and like you look too long, and you look too long, and that's what you get when you look too long.
I just felt like if you're opting, which I'm fine with, you know, I look for 1 second too long because I'm like, whoa, a boob. I think it kind of comes with the territory of what's happening. Like anything else would if you did it in public. There's no right to privacy in public at all. Legally, there's no right to privacy.
Yeah.
There's none, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I film you, if Jess is having an affair with Greg Carpenter from 1019, our sister station,
What?
and you're doing it outside, and I film you, I have legal right to do whatever I want with it. If you're in your own house, it's illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, you're outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I felt weird about that. I felt like I'm fine with it,
Yeah.
but I feel like you can't be.
But she
Shocked.
can react to you no matter
Yeah, she can do what she wants.
because you say you looked a couple seconds longer. To her, that could have been the most disgusting and disrespectful thing on the planet. So if she wants to like have that reaction, she gets to have that reaction.
Yeah,
You know,
she can. And I was, in her mind, I felt like I was a predator.
right?
I did.
And you made her
And
feel that way.
I
if
felt
you,
embarrassed.
If you
I
made
felt
her feel that
embarrassed.
way, you made her feel that way.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's there's the most uncensored thing that happened on my Hawaii vacation. Before we go, I want to take a quick break and come back. I want to talk about the gayest thing you've ever done right after this. So here's how this conversation started. And this is
What?
it's the gayest thing you've ever done. What's
Okay.
the gayest thing you've ever done? And I don't mean that in any kind of disrespect. I mean, when it comes to same-sex opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
what's the gayest thing you've ever done?
Yeah.
The reason we bring this up today on the podcast is
We're giving away Katy Perry tickets on the air, and like obviously we have to like make little snippets to promote them, promote what we're doing throughout the day. And so yesterday I sang a part of Katy Perry's song, "Do You Ever Feel Like a Plastic Bag?"
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted to do the same thing today, but I was like, nothing has the same effect. And then I was like, wait, what if I say I kissed a girl and I liked it? And honestly, if we were in San Diego, I definitely would have done it because I think y'all are like super, super, super comfortable with us.
Yeah.
But I like here we're still kind of like, finding our way a little bit.
We talked about marijuana for like 4 hours today. So
And
I felt
I
like
was surprised.
we
I was
pushed it.
I was
know.
very surprised.
I felt like we pushed it today, but I'm glad we did. I feel like this is who we are, and we're
Right.
way better being ourselves than some awkward ass.
Totally. And I
washed up show.
want to be able to be like, I kissed a girl and I liked it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Jess says that, and honestly, I'm like half paying attention. There's a million things happening after the show, and then so she says that, and I'm like, have you kissed a girl before? Because it's something Jess and I've never talked about.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah.
So I thought today what we would do is we'd share the gayest thing
Mm-hmm.
that we've ever done. I have something. This
I'm more excited to hear what you have to say than me. That's what I'm.
I don't know if all guys do this,
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
or
Probably
if
just you.
if heterosexual males do this,
Probably not.
or they don't do this.
Mhm.
Because I think it definitely teeters in the
Probably not.
questionable category between the two
Mm-hmm.
sexualities. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll start with Jess. Jess, the gayest thing you've ever done.
So, I have definitely kissed a few girls at music festivals, and it happened organically.
Are we talking? Mwah?
And naturally, yeah. I've never like made out with a girl. I have never made out with another woman. I've kissed other girls at festivals. The only, I think, a little more aggressive in the sense where it happened to me. I was at a bar with my friends, and all of us are drunk. We're like standing in a circle, and this girl walks up in the circle, and she grabs my face and she kisses me.
How
and
hard?
then I pulled away before because tongue was about to take place.
Wow.
And I pulled away before the tongue took place because I was like, "What?"
Nothing led up to that.
No.
So
And
she
then-
just
and then
literally walked right up
She literally
to
just walked up to me.
you. Stranger?
Yes. And it was like in the circle
Wow.
of my friends,
That's like-
and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
That's like aggressive, right?
It was a little aggressive.
If that was a guy, he'd get his ass kicked.
Yeah. So
So you didn't like it. You
Didn't-
kissed a girl you didn't like. That's the gayest thing you've done.
that
then.
part I was not a fan of. But the other times when I've been at festivals and I'm just having fun, like it was nice.
I always assumed that women would probably enjoy kissing women more than they would kiss men. I feel like women are so much more sensual of creatures.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah. Where guys are like, "Rah,"
Mhm.
just being all gross, like, "Rah."
Yeah.
You got like smooth skin, no facial hair. Does that feel weird to kiss with facial hair, by the way? No, used to it.
Unless it hurts.
So then, yes.
It just depends.
Is that a yes or a no? I just always assumed that would be a better experience if we're taking all sexuality out of it. It seems like the act itself would be better with two women
Yeah.
because women are by nature, we're just playing by nature here, more sensual of creatures than men. And most women don't have as thick of facial hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
Here's the gayest thing I've ever done.
Okay.
And I don't know if guys do this. And I don't think we have enough guys. Darren's on the YouTube show. Any other guys on here? I don't know if this is gay or not. This is the gayest thing I've ever done. Never kissed. No, I kissed Miguel. I did kiss Miguel, but it's for a radio bit. So that was whatever. I don't know. That was intentional wise. That was probably the gayest thing I've ever done. My buddy Miguel.
Yeah, that doesn't count. It was for radio.
It's just whatever. I'm going to leave all parties anonymous in this situation because I think even this was years removed. It could be
used against us.
I don't know if this is typical. In your formative years, Jessica.
Okay.
I had a guy pull his penis out in front of me one time.
And you didn't look
Over
away.
asleep. I didn't look away, and it was huge. He ended up. I mean, he was gay, but he wasn't out. He didn't know. I don't think he knew he was gay at this point.
So he was testing the water.
I think he was
with
testing
you.
the water. I think he was.
He wanted to see what you were gonna do.
And I did not reciprocate.
But you just stared. Because you were so
what we did,
interested.
and this is not the gay part, but this is what happened. Is I remember talking about penises. This is, and I was probably middle school, young middle school, 6th, 7th grade, maybe.
Oh no.
And maybe younger than that, but I wasn't in high school for sure. And I remember talking about penis sizes, and he was like,
Oh wait, okay.
He was young. I mean, that's young. 10 maybe, 11, 12. No, 12 because he had an erection. So I'm assuming he was probably 12, 13. I don't know. Anyway, so we were talking about penises, and then he was like, "You want to?" He was like, "Mine curves up," and I was like, "Well, that's interesting." So somehow he was like, "Do you want to see?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see." And play this whole like back and forth thing. I don't want to see. He's like, "How about?" Because he was spending the night, right? So it was nighttime.
Yeah.
And the lights were out. He's like, "I'll just flash the lights on real quick."
Oh, this is sad.
And you can see it. And they did it, and I was like, "Huh, it was a big penis."
Stop it.
It was. Impressive. But
He's trying to find himself.
yeah, obviously that was probably his way of like finding out, right? But I did not reciprocate. I did not. Gayest thing I've ever done. Tell me this is gay if this is what you think normal teenage boys would do, okay? You got to remember, back in the day growing up, it was different. Nowadays, kids can go on the phone and get porn all the time, right? Like I can't imagine being a teenage boy and the access you have to
It's overwhelming.
all kinds
and
of.
not even. I don't think it's like just. I think there's the access to all that.
Everything.
Whether you're a boy or a girl.
Sure,
Yeah.
either way. But like if you wanted porn back in the day, this is what we had to do: is we had to have our friend that was 18,
Buy a magazine.
and then like I remember freshman high school, that would be like what would happen was he would like go to the store and buy it for us and then bring it back. But they never wanted to go, and so you had to like kind of like ask him if they could do. But what I would do on numerous occasions would be that a group of us, like I can remember one instance specifically, there were 3 of us, and we were in the basement of my friend's house, and we would turn on porn, and
You guys would watch porn together?
guys don't watch porn together.
That's what I'm asking.
Well-
but you're turning it on,
well-
so you're watching it together.
We decided, because you can't, if you're going to masturbate to pornography, you would do it in your own space. But that's not really doable with the situation that you had before. You get somebody have to take it to their house. Who's going to get it? So we would set up like forts.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like pillows.
Like separate forts. And
Everyone-
you guys would masturbate in the same
everyone
room,
would
but
go-
you'd have your own area. You fucking weirdo! Oh, sorry, Jeremy. Sorry. Jeremy just walked in and he...
Hey, tell Jeremy. Ask Jeremy wants to be in this, but tell him it's rated R.
Jeremy, oh my God, I feel so embarrassed. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Hold on, can I
Yeah, hop in.
Can you please hop on, Jeremy?
This is Jeremy Kahn from our sister
Oh my
station,
God,
105.7.
So can I tell the story about my wife catching me masturbating?
Oh, wait, you can hear this conversation?
Yeah, I heard all that.
Oh, you heard all of it then?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I thought so. There was like my door in my bathroom slides, and my wife was working. I was like, well, she's not in the mood, so let me handle my business. So we started doing the knuckle shuffle, and then all of a sudden she's peeking through the door, like, what are you doing? And then now she comes up to me and she goes, I can only see you, and I go, So
Is that the noise you make? I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
apparently that's what I do. I don't know.
When you were a teen, would you masturbate with other guys?
In the room?
Yeah.
No, I had a buddy that did that where he'd go back to back, and he told me if he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and do." I'm like, "All right, I'm out of here." So you do?
Not now. Not today. I'm not inviting you over.
What time? What time do you get off? Pun intended.
Oh my god.
So that was, but there was someone. What I said was we would create. It was hard back in the day. To get pornography, it was hard, man. You couldn't just go on your phone. Somebody had to go work for it.
Look at me. When you hear Santa's coming down your chimney, it means something totally different.
Oh my God.
Are we allowed to talk about this?
Yeah, we are. No, but you tell him, and
What?
He can let you know.
No, we would set up like forts in someone's base, our own little like with pillows and blankets, and we'd all jerk off. Dividers and like jerk off, but no one would see each other. Do you think that's weird / gay?
No.
How old were you?
27. No.
What was yesterday? Oh.
I mean, probably early high school.
Yeah.
14, 15.
Is that normal?
There was a bunch of guys that I know that did it. There were a couple of my friends that were in a band, like a rock band.
Yeah.
And
they
would
jerked
do
off
it
together
all the time. They put something on, and then no eye contact until you were about to finish. That was the no eye contact. Period.
Bro, you're on the wrong show. You're on the wrong show.
I talk about this stuff all the time, man.
Is that what y'all do?
Oh
over there?
God.
Maybe we're on the wrong show.
You guys need to come over with us.
I feel like we need to. I'll tell you a really quick story too. Talking about, have you ever, Jess? Have you ever caught Garageboy masturbating before?
No.
No. I
caught him yesterday. I don't even know what I was doing there. So
I jerked off on my honeymoon. On my honeymoon because
that's a red fucking flag, Kramer.
Was. In hindsight. So we were in Mexico and they had like a free porn station, and she had it was like and it was like fucking crazy shit. And she had gone to sleep, and I came across it, and I was like, when in Rome, okay, when in Mexico,
when it hits you, but
when it hits you, right?
I'm pretty sure I jerked off during your honeymoon too.
Oh my
It was
God.
a day that ended in Y. No, I'm kidding. That's a serial masturbator. Look at this guy. He can't.
This has gone too far.
All right.
It has gone too far. Jeremy Kahn, everybody. Jeremy Kahn. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you guys.
how did you hear it? How
Thank
can he
you
hear
so
it?
much. Thank you so much.
How can you hear the show?
Huh? No, he walked in when I literally
when you were
was like,
freaking
you guys
about
are
masturbating.
fucking
Okay.
psychopaths masturbating in the same room. That's the minute the door fucking opens.
There's
I was like,
literally-
what the hell is going on over here?
What's happening?
Everyone is logged off of YouTube. See you, Jeremy.
Bye. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so.
This just took a really bad turn. But that's how it goes with the Uncensored podcast. And while we warn you up front, I feel
my
like we
God.
need Jeremy on our show. It'd probably get too wild, wouldn't it?
No, I mean Jeremy's the best. It'd be fun to have him like on the Uncensored podcast for like
Once a month.
if he could like come on and hang out with
Yeah.
us. He probably that was so
My.
weird. He opens the door and I'm like, "You're masturbating in the same room." He's like, "What the fuck?"
If our contract doesn't get renewed, you know why.
Yeah.
It started with today. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Well,
I can't believe that's so interesting.
I guess it's somewhat normal. It's good to hear.
I don't think so. I don't know.
You don't have to call on that, but you can. 855 Kramer Jess. You can always leave a message. We'll play it on next week's podcast. Jess, how do we find you?
Just do it. JESSDUITT and my podcast Low Key. Oh my God.
YouTube.
What is it?
Let's go through a couple YouTube comments before we go. In case you don't know, we do our show on YouTube
Oh my
as
God.
well. And so if you're listening to this and you want to see all the chaos that went down, you can always go watch it on our YouTube channel. Just search
Yeah,
Kramer
you can
and
see
Jess.
the moment that he
Then
fucking
Jeremy
opens the
just walks
door.
in. Who walked in earlier, by the
Also,
way?
yeah, what the fuck was that?
Who was that? Somebody walked in the very beginning when
That
we
was
started.
like next door. He just fucking opened the door and grabs the chair. Like we need
Amateur
to,
hour.
yeah.
Darren said that's the best uncensored moment ever. Cecilia says, I am dead. And I think this is the best one. Mike's going to get the comment of the day. Is that what they call Fortnite?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Had a different meaning back in the day, kids.
Oh my God.
My podcast is called Certified Mama's Boy. It is not like this.
At all.
Do not bring this smut over there.
Your poor mom.
I'm that guy Kramer on Instagram. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.